So we're going to start with trying to make a calculator, all right? Um, we want to make a GUI calculator, graphical user index, with PY simple GUI or PY simple GUI, as I like to call it, all right? So let's just see what calculator I want to make. This is it. Why I like this white calculator is because it's kind of it looks like my phone calculator, all right? So I like it white. All right, it makes me feel like I'm pressing my Android phone, so that's why it's white. All right, I chose the white color. You can choose any color of your choice when you're trying to get colors. All right, for PY simple GUI. So I'm choosing gray is like this color white. All right, so next thing is set options. Let me show you again why I'm showing you this is set options. Look at this calculator I have already made. Here, this is where this can display my answers on the calculator. If you're watching this, I can set my buttons to the font I want, the button element size, and then the size of each button. All right, and then the display. So that's what we're going to be doing now. We will select all the buttons and name them. All right, pick all the buttons from 0 star hash minus and plus, clear and enter. All right, and then make the buttons first with their font, and make it we get first in its entirety before we start making it to function. So let's go and try it out. So I started with my telling you that I want the gray because I like it. Then the next thing I'm going to do right now is to set options. I've put my font at Franklin 20. You can choose any font you want anyway. So my button element, I've showed you what is my button. All right, I've made it 6 by 3, which is of course okay. All right, the next thing I'll put my button size. All right, my button size, the same. I'll use the same 6 and 3. All right, then I'll come here and also make my layout. Layout is this, how I want. Layout is this is my layout. All right, everything that will be happening here, how I want this to be fixed inside here. So I will just put my sg.test and come back and fix the layout, and then we'll fix the button next. All right, my square bracket. The next one I want to use sg.test. All I'm saying I would come back is that my layout, the need for my layout would come after I have set the buttons. All right, the layout is to make everything perfectly fit and straight. So I'll come back to it and fix my layout. But next, let me just go here. Let me go and put in my buttons first and come back to the layout. All right, so it's time to fix my buttons. I'll say sg dot button. Hmm? You can help me out here. The first thing I've chosen clear, right? So clear. No, should be in. It's a string, right? So it should be inside So I'm saying expand X. What's this expand X for? This expand X will help me. Let's look at my stuff again. This expand X, all right, will help me get these buttons fit perfectly inside this, all right, instead of it being squeezed. To help me to be perfectly fit inside this layout. All right, so let's continue. That's why I'm using expand X as true. If it's not true, it will look tight and it won't be that fine or look nicely arranged. So next button is, so mind you, I'm trying to do this in line by line. So the next button is enter. All right, I don't have some of my buttons functioning, so that's why I'm putting this up to help me out. So enter. Then the next thing, I turn on my expand S, which is true. Remember, I told you that the buttons can fit in properly. All right, the next button we are going to be adding now is what? Let's check again. We're going to be adding 7, 8, and 9 and star button, right? So we'll just be repeating this stuff. SD dot button. Remember, the first thing we're trying to do is to do what? To arrange our widgets and organize our buttons. So I told you earlier that some of my buttons are not functioning, so I have to use my system keyboard rather. Sorry. So we have 7 first, not 9. All right. If you're understanding it, you can help me fixing other buttons yourself. Is equal to what? Button size. So we've set our button size to 6,3. All right, so instead of saying calling the button size always, we just use the word button size automatically. All right, then the next thing, we also call the next button we want to create. I want to create 8. sg dot button. My next button is I want to create 8. So keeping my size as equal to my button size, which have already been set. All right, then remember I told you that the button size is what? The size of that button, the way I want it to be. All right, so my expand X is to make it fit perfectly. So I'm creating another button again, sg dot button. We have this time around 9. All right, comma, my size is equal to the button size I've created. All right, then the next thing again is, let's check. I need my star. sg dot button. I need my keyboard all the time, so bear with me. Then start. Then set our button size. So we can do this all the way and continue. So I'll just, the next thing I'll do is to simply copy the rest. Like I can't type all of them, so I'll copy the rest. Come here and copy the remaining. All right, I'm assuming that you have understood it, so I can copy the rest because I'm just repeating it and repeating it. So as you can see, I've created button 4, 5, and 6. I've created 1, 2, and 3. I've created 0, point, and then plus. So at this 0 now, you can see that I use my expand x as true. Let's see this thing again. You see why I use my expand x here, because if I don't use it here, it won't fit in perfectly. All right, so I'm using my expand x here as true, maintaining this my side, the side of my button for others. All right, so this basically, so let's come back and finish up our layout. I left the layout so that we can set our buttons completely. So we have set our sg.test and made an empty string. All right, why is it an empty string? It's an empty string so that I don't want to put anything on top. All right, if you can choose to put something as here as maybe calculator, I don't see any reason, so I leave it as an empty string. All right, so the next thing I am is I now want to set my answers and put a font with it. As you can see, the one that I just saw, 702, my answer, this is size 14. The font here that displays the answer is size 14. All right, so let me set my font. I'm simply doing this thing to make it look nice. It's not really, it could be anyone's choice. So for my font, I told you I'm using size 14 Franklin 14. All right, justification. How do I want the answers to be displayed? So I want to put that right. If I make it at left, my answers will be displayed by the left. All right, so most times, I don't know, I like it at left. It makes it look neat and organized. All right, we then expand x, which is true, which I have said that it makes it have that fitting look. It gives it that fitting look.